Hey there, it's me, Al, and today I want to just yap about my favorite D&D character, overspliced with a speed paint of me working on her ref sheet that I did recently, mostly for this video, um, and a few other images for context. I recently got laid off of my day job, so I'm doing this mostly to make myself feel better. But if you want to draw along with me, feel free. If you want to leave a comment about your favorite D&D character, please do, so we can all yap together. I'd love that. But this is Callista. She is a archfey warlock slash rogue. She'll be inquisitive eventually when we level up. She is an Asimar. She's in our campaign that takes place at an adventuring college, and I love her. So Callista grew up in a very prominent and affluent um, paladin order family. Her family essentially runs this order, which is kind of a cult. We're sort of realizing it might be more culty than I expected, but we're getting into that. But she grew up without any sort of real abilities that would have made her a good paladin. She's very weak. She doesn't really have a lot of interest in the religious part. She asks too many questions. So she ends up growing up in a very authoritarian and sort of emotionally neglectful and abusive household. But she does grow up with an older sister whose name is Wilhelmina, who she has a very like deep emotional connection with, and is sort of has this very large hero worship. Will is a paladin prodigy. She is basically, if you imagine a like Valkyrie-esque paladin, that's what Will is, except she's also very like sweet and wholesome. Callista is relatively sure that Will is one of the only truly good people in the world. But right before the campaign starts, Will goes missing while on an adventure mission for the school, the Pearl Yield Adventuring Academy. Callista is sort of dead set on finding out what happened to her, but doesn't have any sort of actual abilities. So one night, while trying to think of something, she comes across a book in her family's library that has an archfey seemingly locked within it. She makes a deal with this archfey that if she helps him get out of the book, he'll give her powers to help her find her sister, and they sort of strike a bit of a strange, like oddly codependent relationship. She goes to try to get into Pearl Yield Adventuring Academy under the guise of being a wizard, because the family can't really find out that she's stolen this book. And then that's sort of how her journey starts. I'll talk in a different video about like the actual in narrative campaign a little bit more and about her party members, but um, she is a kind of abrasive but oddly charismatic person. She has a deep seating RBF, big issues with authority, especially male authority, from how she grew up. She is very, frankly, kind of paranoid and very like answered and mystery obsessed. But she's also the running gag is she's kind of stray cat esque. She is very much somebody who's standoffish at first, but once you've broken down those walls, there's not really a lot of getting rid of her. Um, for a lot of her criticism against like the system, she is still very um, vigilante esque. In all honesty, um, and I love her. She is got just the strangest vibes to her because it's a combination of all of this stuff. Currently, after some narrative stuff that happened, her and her patron are now sharing a body. So we call her patron Mothman because he is a moth based archfey, and we've not really found out his name yet. Um, and now they are currently kind of sharing a body and a mind space. He has not done anything nefarious with this, except for he did hit a paladin NPC with the frying pan and keeps making grilled cheeses at like 3 a.m. and not doing his dishes. I love him. He's very silly and wacky to me. He is, however, the Archfey King of Nightmares, so there's that. But him and Callista are besties. She heavily considers him her best friend, which is probably an issue that we will deal with later. Um, I thought I would go into some of the design mentality around her because I spend a lot of time thinking about that. But her original design actually was a lot different color scheme wise, and I actually had the full idea from the beginning that her color scheme would sort of slowly transition into what it is now. So at first, it was actually more blues and silvers. The silver was supposed to be sort of this indication that she had always been second place in her own family. And over time, as she strays further and further away from her family, and as her and her patron become closer, her color schemes sort of start to shift into blacks and purples. She also starts to wear a lot less restrictive clothing. So, if you on the screen, there are some of her first character designs where she's in a lot more restrictive clothing, but still has like you start to see a little bit of like the cutouts that later become like a prominent part of her design. Is these like not necessarily boob windows, but like these skin cutouts, and her showing a lot more skin. Um, she also has one of those quintessential like dramatic like hair cutting scenes after when they go back for Yule, and she has that interaction with the Mothman wings that ends up the reason why her and him are now sharing a body. She blacks out, and the implication is that Mothman, while controlling her body, might have killed her father. Do not worry, they bring him back. Not us, but the Paladin Order brings him back, so he will likely still be a problem for me. But right after that, she cuts off the Arkangela family braid, which is a character design element that's in all of those family members, and gets that very um, gets the hairstyle that she has now that I have a hard time describing. But I really like the points where you can see that the braid's been cut. Still, a design element that I really like from her. Currently, she is wanted for that crime by the Order and for questioning, because obviously they kind of know now that she's probably harboring this archfey somewhere. They did basically go come to the school, or they didn't come to the school. They sent a letter to the school, basically being like, "Hey, please turn in the criminal that you have, so we can question and make sure she's not doing that." And the school was like, luckily for me, like, no, we're not doing that, because she has a very contentious relationship with the school's principal, Pennyworth Pearlyield, who is who is me personally, Al, the player. He is my personal enemy. I hate this man. He is so smug. Callista also has issues with him because, again, aforementioned issues with male authority. Also, she does not trust him, and there's a lot of weird shit going on in the school that kind of justifies that. But when the Order essentially comes knocking and is like, "Hey, we think you technically might be harboring a criminal, at least to us, and also we want to question her about the possible, you know, Archfey King of Nightmares that might be swimming around in her head." And Pennyworth is like, "No, I'm not doing that." And they have a big meeting where he essentially talks to Callista and is like, "Hey, you don't know anything to your family. You don't know anything to me, but I am going to protect you because I've never liked these people anyway. And I don't care about them pulling their funding." And what's really frustrating for Callista is Callista's like, "Okay, well, what do you want me to do to repay slash like justify this?" And he's like, "Nothing, I'm just making the right choice." And that drives her nuts, because she would have much preferred him to be like, "Hey, you owe me something," rather than, "Oh, I'm actually going to be a nice guy in this situation and not turn you into your kind of a deeply abusive parents." I will go into their relationship and Pennyworth Pearlyield and the way the school is run in a different video if you guys really like this one, because I also want to do maybe a video talking about her party members and sort of I spent a lot of time thinking about the design mentality around the party members and the school. So if y'all want to hear that, let me know, because I would love to do it. But I'm going to sign off. This is the final. Um, this is the final for the ref. This is the final for the ref sheet. If you saw me struggling with the graphic design, no, you didn't. I was trying. But yeah, bye guys. Let me know what you think, and please talk about your favorite D&D character in the comments below, especially if they're a warlock. I love warlocks. They are my favorite class. Bye.